with Christian Miller, two-time national champion and team captain for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and former Carolina Panther, and his father, Corey Miller, the pastor of pain, a 9-year NFL veteran with the New York Giants, and University of South Carolina Hall of Famer. This is the Miller's Edge.
And welcome into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody is doing well. Another rainy day today. We hope you guys are staying dry. Got a couple of things we're definitely going to dive into, but first, let me tell you, I'm excited about this. We got somebody joining us in about 5 minutes or so. Stephen M. Smith, who used to join the show all the time, getting him back on here. He's going to start today. He'll be joining us talking some Alabama football again. Summer program officially has kicked off. These guys are back in action here, and so that means we are officially rolling. That means camp season's here. That means recruiting season's here, all that stuff. So who better to talk with than Stephen M. Smith, who breaks all that stuff down. So we'll get his thoughts on a number of things since it's been so long since we've caught up with him. So, again, we'll hear from Stephen in about 5 minutes or so. So make sure you guys are tuning into that. And obviously, after that, I want to get y'all's thoughts. 205-342-9904 is the number. Plus, you guys can always leave your questions, comments, and concerns on that Tide 100.9 app. Completely free to download. All you got to do is go to the App Store, Google Play Store, Apple App Store, whatever store you use, and you can download it there and drop those app comments there. Plus, you can always call directly from that and listen to the show from any location possible. Again, we are live on YouTube as well, so check us out if you like the visual, you want to see us do the show, see the clips that we're playing and all that good stuff. Check us out on YouTube at the Miller's Edge, where we stream live while we do the show 11 to 1 Monday through Friday as well. Per usual, we got to tell you about our friends over at the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support experts. If you're in any type of pain, whether it's foot pain, knee pain, back pain, you name it, you got to check out these arch supports that are right here, as you can see, engineered to help you live the life you love without pain. Again, these things are incredible. It's a 3-step process, but you just pop them in your shoes. It's as simple as that. Just throw them in your shoes, whether it's work boots, tennis shoes, you name it, they can go in there, and they will take care of that pain. Clinically proven to do so in just 4 short weeks. So don't miss out, guys. I'm telling you, don't miss out. You can find them right here in Midtown Village in Tuscaloosa, or you can always go to this beautiful blue website that I'm on right now, goodfeet.com, where you can find the nearest location to you, schedule an appointment. You can do all that on their website, plus get more information as well. They've got all types of videos and information that explains a little bit more in depth than I can. But I can tell you from personal experience, these things work, and they are game changers. I've been using them for quite some time now, and I'm telling you, in terms of just balancing you out, feeling, pain-free, just feeling better overall, not dealing with all the aches and the stiffness and the pain that comes with getting old, playing sports, all that good stuff. You got to check out the Good Feet Store. So check them out again, goodfeet.com, Midtown Village here in Tuscaloosa and nationwide. Again, that is the Good Feet Store. Improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Excuse me. We hadn't talked a whole bunch of basketball recently, but some big basketball news, some breaking news that we do need to at least throw out there, because it was a big-time announcement that came out last night. Chase, running it back, says Yay Alabama. Because LeBaron Philon has decided to return to the University of Alabama. He will withdraw his name from the NBA draft and be back here playing under Nate Oates. So huge news. A lot of people excited and thrilled about that, what that means for this basketball team. So maybe we'll discuss it a little bit here later in the show. But first, we got to hit this timeout, because up next we've got Stephen M. Smith joining us. He will break down everything Alabama football, some college football talk, all that good stuff. So excited to hear from him. Been some time. And we're about to do that right here after this quick timeout, right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, and live on YouTube, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support experts. Quick timeout. Stephen M. Smith, come right up.
Don't buy your new or pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from anywhere other than Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa. Their local team provides a 5-star buying experience and 5-star service. Shop local, MercedesofTuscaloosa.com, or go see them at 3200 Skyland Boulevard East, Tuscaloosa.
The new ride you've been dreaming of awaits at Pearl River Resorts. Every Friday and Saturday, your chance to win a new car gets closer. During our Drive Into May event, you could be one of the lucky winners drawn every hour to enter the final May 31st drawing for a brand new car. Plus, each lucky winner gets $300 in bonus bet prizes. Drive into winnings today at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. Must be 21 or older to play.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you, aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
The Peace Lily is so last year.
Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Townsend Nissan will wow you with offers like this. Up to $4,000 in rebates or 0% for up to 60 months on the all-new 2025 Pathfinder V6 SUVs. We have over 25 in stock. Oh, you want more? Up to $6,000 in rebates on the 2025 V6 Frontiers. And yes, Townsend Nissan has over 20 in stock and ready to roll. And yes, all models are tariff-free. We have 5 models that are under $30,000. Altima, Sentra, Rogue, Versa, and the hot new 2025 Kicks. Shop Townsend Nissan.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts, where we are now joined by our good friend. It's been a while, but you guys know his name. He covers all thing Alabama football. Stephen M. Smith. Stephen, man, long time no see, man. How's everything been?
Christian, brother, man, it's been good, man. It's been a while, but it's always a great thing to catch up with you right here.
Absolutely, man. I know it's been quite some time, but looking forward to talking with you, man. Tell me real quick though. So what are you up to now? Because I remember you switched gears from where you were at originally, and are you coaching now? Are you with the high school? Is that right? And you're also doing some stuff with the Bama Standard still?
That is correct. Doing high school now, and still doing some stuff with Justin Riley and the guys at the Bama Standard. So that's where I've shifted now. But as always, I still have my ears and eyes to everything going down there in Tuscaloosa.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. And that's why we got you on here, man. Love always getting your insights. So might as well dive into it. But since it's been a while since we talked, Stephen, let's go ahead and backtrack a little bit. I'm curious because I don't think I've talked to you since the season concluded, man. Just give me a quick little overview on your thoughts of Kalen DeBoer's first year in Tuscaloosa.
I thought it was good relative to what he was facing, right? Because a lot of people look at where you go 9-4. You don't lose to Vanderbilt. You don't lose to Oklahoma. You shouldn't lose to Tennessee or Michigan in the bowl game. But what people have to realize, when you're filling in the shoes left behind by one of one, that being Nick Saban, that is hard, tremendously hard to come in there and fill in those shoes and think that everything is going to still go business as usual. There's going to be some bumps, some twists, some turns in that road. The buy-in, especially between the players to the new coaching staff, that was going to take some adjustment as well. So 9-4, although it was not what people expected, I can understand why, because of all of the transition that DeBoer had to go through.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's definitely worth noting. I had my dad on here yesterday. He's been so busy, so he's on here, sparingly when he gets a chance, but he was, he's been very outspoken that he does feel like, last year obviously there's going to have, you're going to have the, the year one, not excuses, but people understand it's year one, just like you just mentioned. There's a lot of hurdles you've got to go over in that first year, but he's been outspoken now saying that he feels like year two will be pivotal for Kalen DeBoer in this Alabama football program. Do you feel the same, or do you feel like there's a little bit more patience there for him?
I think year two is big for DeBoer, and you can kind of tell, Christian, ever since the season ended, when you look at the recruits that DeBoer brought in this 2025 class, headlined by Keegan Russell, to spring ball, to even right now, there's a different look on DeBoer's face. Like, he knows, okay, year one, I got introduced to grown man football. I came here from the Pac-12, now the Pac-2, and no longer a conference, to the SEC, where it does mean more. There is a bigger microscope put on you, and he wasn't quite prepared for it, but he needed that year one experience to show him this is what it is. And in this conference, there are sharks in this conference, and if I'm trying to survive, I got to be able to maneuver. So I feel like this upcoming season, he has a better grasp on what he needs to do and what he has to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. Being up there this spring, Steve, that was one of the things I noticed, just I guess just really like the not just the energy, but just the way they were going about things just felt, I wouldn't say more intentional, but you could just feel there's more of the comfort level was there. It seemed like people just had a better idea of kind of what was expected, their roles, and the confidence seemed there, even the buy-in with the players. Everything seemed a lot smoother, as you would probably imagine, year two versus year one, especially just like you mentioned, everything he was following up. So that's definitely good to see. I want to ask you about this, Stephen. We talked a little bit about last year, got your thoughts on that. Moving forward, were there a few things that stood out to you that you feel that this team needs to do to have the success that they want to have? I know the defense, relatively was solid. If you look at the numbers, I think it was one of the better defenses we've had in quite some time. I think since like 2017. Obviously, turnovers were definitely a highlight of what they did last year. But to me, there's still some areas that I felt like stood out. I think pass rush, getting off the field is big. I mean, playing with more physicality, more consistency as a defense. Offensively, we all know, consistency was definitely a thing. Running the ball needs to probably improve, needs to be more consistent as well. But to you, Steven, after seeing the team last year, what is it, or what are the keys that you think they really need to focus on going into this year to have more success?
I think starting off on defense, Christian, the number one thing for Kane Womack in this 4-2-5 swarm is in facing teams that run the football, being able to stop that. Because that was an issue a season ago. You couldn't quite stop that run. And I know there were moments where Coach Kane liked to put 3 down linemen, and that frustrated a lot of fans. Like, where's the fourth guy to stop the run? So I think having more emphasis on that. And then number two, defensively, is popping out those closers. And by closers, guys that can finish on the quarterback. LT Overton could have had double-digit tackles for loss or double-digit sack numbers last year if he would have just finished on a few more of those plays in the backfield. He would have the quarterback right there in his sight, and he couldn't quite finish the play. So being able to pop out those closers, whether it be Overton, whether it be Quay Russaw, who looked really good this spring, whether it be James Smith, who started to show himself more in the bowl game against Michigan, whoever that closer or that group of closers are, they need to show themselves defensively. So I think those two aspects, defense that way. Offensively, you brought it up, Christian, being able to have balance to run the football. And that got me excited this spring as we saw Ryan Grubb's offense predicated a bit more of the quarterback taking the ball from under center and handing off to the running back. And that got me excited, just looking at having Jam Miller, Richard Young, Dre Washington, the transfer from Louisiana, among others back there, getting the ball more. As talented as Jalen Milroe was, and I want the best for him in the NFL in Seattle, we saw a lot of those designed quarterback runs, or maybe not so designed, take away from the running backs. So to be able to get back and establish the running backs and have them as a priority, and seeing Grubb's offensive scheme handing that ball off to them a bit more, I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that stood out to me, just the lack of consistency in that running game. And I get what you mean about, seeing Miller have those carries and, maybe taking some from those guys. I always tell people, there's only so many opportunities in the game, whether it's, carries, whether it's, passes getting thrown your way. I mean, you can only, do so much. But I think with Jalen's athleticism, it gave them pretty much no choice, because that was one of the most successful things they had. But you're right, it is interesting to see, who's going to step up. Obviously, Jam, Richard Young, those guys people are excited about. But Daniel Hill is a guy that really stands out to me. A lot of coaches have been really excited about his progression, man. You're talking about a guy that's like 240, but runs like he's 215, physical specimen. So that's going to be cool to see his role. We're joined by Stephen M. Smith, Pell City plus Bama Standard right here. Stephen, I want to ask you, when you look at this roster, a lot of people are excited about the wide receiver room, right? They look at the defensive back room. There's a lot of talent there, a lot of young guys that are stepping up. Obviously did some big things last year, so now they want to see the improvement going into this year. People think that could be the highlight of this team. What do you feel like is the strong suit of this football team? Are there any names that stick out to you that you feel like are going to be those key contributors this upcoming season?
I look at, Christian, the defensive line room. That's the room that's the most exciting for me right now. This is Freddie Roach's year. Everything has built up for Freddie to this season right here. If you look at 2020, when Coach Roach first came in during that first year, we had the COVID pandemic and things that went on there. He did not recruit those guys. Now you look at 2021, that first COVID class where you weren't able to go out there and recruit and get your eyes on these young men due to the mask mandate, the social distance, and that type of thing. So 2022, 2023 were the first 2 years to where Freddie was able to finally get out there and get on the basis of seeing these guys, watching some games, putting some eyes on some players, and it's not just a tape. You look at these kids here, every one of these guys, Freddie got into the program, whether it was a Tim Keenan, a James Smith, a Edric Hill, a Jordan Renaud, a Jeremiah Beeman, a Steve Bolo Mbamoa, and Isaiah Faga. All of these guys are Freddie's guys. So now he gets a chance to really pop and develop some numbers with these young men. They have a relationship with him. He went out and handpicked every last one of them. We are really about to see Freddie's personality come out in this defensive front. I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have their eyes on that defensive front too, man. I know a lot of people are, a little sometimes skeptical. They want to see, I guess, a defensive line unit mimic what we had when I was playing, some of those guys, even the years before, a couple years after. But I always tell people, man, I think we were really blessed with like some generational talent at that spot. But I do think Freddie does a good job. And I think the group of guys that he has, I'll say this, Steve, they do have some depth, man. Some of the guys you named, some of those young guys I think are going to step up, like the Edric Hills, right? I think even a guy like Jordan Renaud, I see a lot of potential in him. He's flashed a lot since he's been on campus. So looking forward to that group as well. When you look at this freshman class, some of these young guys that we got to see this spring, Stephen, anybody stand out to you? And I guess if you had to pick maybe one or two of these true freshmen that could have an immediate impact, who would you list?
I think the number one freshman you got to look at, Christian, is that wide receiver, and that's Latia Brooks.
Yeah.
It is hard for defensive backs to stay in front of that young man. And as much as we don't like to compare players, he does wear that number 17. And the last electric player we saw wear that number was Jalen Waddle, and how special that brother was. Of course, he's now in the NFL. But when you watch Brooks, just the short area quickness, the spatial awareness, his ability to get on top of defensive backs, to be the vertical deep threat, he can do a lot. And it was not a moment in spring ball that you were not hearing about him. Like almost every day it was like somebody had posted a new clip or somebody's talking about that 17 Brooks kid. He can really be something. So offensively, I would look at him. Defensively, Dijon Lee. Where does Kane Womack put him? He is 6'4" with a 6'8" wingspan, and the brother can move. He's a living avatar character. Like, where do you put him in the defense? Do you put him as a corner? Do you put him as a nickel? Like, where does he fit in the brain of Kane Womack, who loves to throw a lot at you? Where does Dijon Lee fit the best at to where you can maximize his full potential? Because you got a lot of depth back there in that defensive secondary. But Dijon Lee, that type of size, length, arms, hands, wingspan, you can't coach that. And you got to use that in some way, form, or capacity.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Those are my two picks too, honestly, man. And Dijon Lee, like you said, I mean, you can't coach that length, and that dude in person is even more impressive. Because I mean, like, I'm 6'4", but really, 6'3" and 3/8 or something like that at the combine. That dude is like eye to eye with me. If not, sometimes I feel like he might even have me beat. And I'm just like, man, that's a cornerback, and I'm watching him move. Man, he's going to be a really, really good player. But like you mentioned, there's a lot of depth, and I was asking myself that too. Where does he fit in? Because you got Zabian Brown, you've got Damani Jackson. Those two are studs on the outside. If I'm being honest with you, I think he's a true outside corner. I think with his straight line speed being more of his thing, with his length, that's where he fits. But could he slide around a little bit maybe this year while there's some other spots? Because to me, Steven, you look at his secondary, man. Obviously, the outside corner spots, you're good there.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy because we're not even talking about guys like Red Morgan, who's added weight and muscle. We're not mentioning guys, Day-Day Deshaun Jones, who can play Husky and has experience. Like the job of roster retention that Womack did, and then adding in fresh faces with that. I mean, you got a lot of multiple packages you can come up with.
Absolutely. And I think that, the one thing that I think helps them, like with the roster retention and really let this all flow and work okay without having, guys disgruntled and angry, is that they rotate a lot. A lot of guys get snapped. So there will be a lot of opportunities, even if you're not a starter on paper, you're going to play a lot. And I think that's where we'll see Dijon Lee. Well, I think we'll see him rotate it outside. Husky is really if you look at it, Steven, that defensive back room, that's really the only spot that's like, I wouldn't say open, but safety spots, you got Bray, you got Keon Sabb. Corner spots, Zabian Brown, Damani Jackson. Obviously, that Husky spot, you had Devontae Smith. He transferred to Notre Dame. So I think you see more like a Deshaun Jones there, maybe even, Kirkpatrick. He's been turning a lot of heads as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of guys getting some snaps there. Real quick, Steven, I know you got some stuff to do, so I don't want to hold you too long, but we hadn't talked about the quarterbacks, right? And a lot of people feel good about Ty Simpson taking over that spot. Ryan Grubb came out and said if we played tomorrow, it would be his job pretty much. How do you think that battle, officially plays out? I mean, obviously it's leaning in Ty's favor, but Keelan Russell has been turning some heads too. Some people think we might see him at some point, at least getting some opportunities. How do you see this quarterback position playing out this upcoming season, Steve?
I look at it, Christian, and I kind of equate this to 2017, right? I look at it as Ty Simpson's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy. Like he has earned that. He's the guy. But I look at Key Russ in a way that Saban looked at Tua in 2017. Key Russ is special. Let's get him some reps. Let's get him some reps, some burn in some games to where if we need him in a big spot, he's prepared to go. In the same way of 2017, to where you knew what you had in Jalen Hurts, but you looked at Tua Tagovailoa and said, that Hawaiian different. Let's get him some burn. Let's work him in some games. Let's give him some reps. So just in case we need him, we got him as the insurance in the back pocket. So I kind of feel like it's going to play out that same way. Ty Simpson's earned it. He's the guy. But if there was ever a moment to where we kind of need a little bit extra, there's Keelan Russell.
That's an interesting take. I mean, it makes sense. I can see the comparison between the 2017 team and kind of how that played out. So I mean, I get where you're going with that. Let me ask you this real quick as a follow up. I know this is jumping way ahead, but when you look at after this season, right? I was talking about this last week on the show. I think you could have a very interesting dilemma on your hands at that quarterback spot because Ty Simpson technically has an extra year of eligibility. But you have a guy like you just mentioned that they probably view like they viewed Tua, that they know is special. He's the future. So they're probably going to be expecting him to step up and be the guy. But say Ty, and we know Ty is a patient young man. He's waited all this time to play. Would not surprise me if he wants to come back an extra year to better his draft stock even more. But then you also still have, Austin Mack, who's not going to want to sit there behind these guys. And if he leaves, just think about it. You could be sitting there with a big dilemma on your hands. What would you do in that situation, Steven, if you've got Ty Simpson who has a good year, but maybe not, good enough to be a first-round lock, so he's looking at maybe wanting to come back. You got Keelan Russell. You don't want to lose him to the transfer portal. And Austin Mack, if he's behind, Keelan Russell, that's pretty much all of his eligibility. Stephen M. Smith, you're the head coach of the University of Alabama, and you got that big problem on your hands. How do you handle it?
This is where Christian, you seriously look at that portal and see, okay, what is in here that is strong, right? You look at that portal. Obviously, you want to recruit freshmen that are high up as well. But if I was put in a situation where I look at the potential of losing Austin Mack to the portal, because you have to look at that, I would look at that portal and see, okay, who in here from the Power 5 or who in here with big talent can I look at and see that fits me? That fits me well, and bring that player to the University of Alabama.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what you have to do. It just, to me, I'm like, man, these coaches have really tough jobs because on one hand, you got a guy in Ty who say he wants to come back for a fifth year. Who wouldn't want, who wouldn't want to have a returning starter guy with some experience like that? But then also you got the young, talented kid in Keelan Russell, and then obviously Austin Max in there. So, it's definitely, I guess it's a good problem to have when you feel strongly about that. But that's just a hypothetical down the road. But I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, that could definitely be quite the conundrum for Kalen DeBoer down the road. But probably should focus on this year because obviously we didn't make the playoffs last year. That's the big focus this year. How confident are you in that, Steven? Are you confident this team makes the playoffs this year? A lot of people preseason rankings right now, or I guess post-spring, I should say, has had Alabama. It varies 9 to 12 range, and now we're seeing them as high as top 5 on some of these rankings. Where would you have Alabama on your post-spring top 25? And we can finish on that note.
Post-spring, I would have Alabama in the top 5 post-spring. Simply because, going back to what I mentioned, DeBoer needed 2024. And now that he understands what it takes in this conference, there's a whole different look about him now. Like, he is so motivated to have a bigger year two and have a better year two, all because of now he's got the buy-in. Yeah. Last year, you still had people wondering, can this guy be Saban? Is this guy anything like Saban? We just lost Saban. Now it's, okay, this is DeBoer's team. The players are locked in step. The coaches are locked in step. You're now seeing more of the fan base go, okay, Saban's TV now. This is Kalen DeBoer time. So the fans have become more locked in step. So now we are about to see DeBoer, and now with him having his guy, Ryan Grubb, back in here and how aggressive he is, now we're about to see something.
Yeah, no, I definitely think we will. To Steven, man, I appreciate you hopping on here. It's been a while. We'll definitely have to get back to getting you on here as much as possible. Before we let you go, man, make sure you plug all your stuff and what you're doing now and how everybody can keep up with you.
Oh, absolutely. They can always find me on the Twitter, X, Twitter, whatever it is now, at Coaching M. Smith right there, at Coaching M. Smith on social media there. They can find me, Pale City High School under head coach Nick Gentry. We got kids at Pale City that looking just to get some major D1 offers coming up this season. Got some tough games this season on the schedule, but looking forward to helping these guys do some things in 6A.
Oh yeah, man! I might need to check out one of y'all's game, man. Pale City, and you see. So you said Nick Gentry? I didn't realize. So he's the head coach now up there.
He's the head man, man. 2011 national champion Gentry, man. He up there with him.
Dang, yeah, man. I'm definitely familiar with him, man. Shout out to you guys, man. It's awesome that you guys are doing that, man. Again, thanks for hopping on here. We'll definitely get you back on soon, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Take care of yourself, Christian.
Yes, sir. You too, Stephen. Good deal. Stephen M. Smith, Coaching M. Smith, as you guys heard, joining us, talking all things Bama football. Shout out to him, man. Glad to have him back here on the show. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll respond. Plus, got some other things we want to talk about. Got some Kirby Smart made a comment, Chase. I forgot to mention that definitely caught some attention. We'll talk about that coming up and more right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC live on YouTube as well at the Miller's Edge. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow trucks, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit drivesafealabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Hey, Bama fans, this is quarterback Jalen Milroe for my friends at Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Before you shop anywhere else for a Dodge Ram truck, a Jeep, a Dodge Challenger, or a Dodge Charger, shop local. An amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles are on the lot now. Go see for yourself at 550 Skyland Boulevard East in Tuscaloosa, or you can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll...
What's up, everybody? Welcome in. I hadn't even welcomed you guys in. We jumped straight into the interview. Hope everybody's well. Who do we have in here? What's up, Kenji? T-Town Tua was different. Yeah, Tua was special, man. But like Steven was saying, you already knew, when he stepped on campus. I remember he came to do, I forgot what it was. He came to throw or something. He came to throw for Lane. He came on a visit, but he was throwing for Lane. And I just remember everybody was like, man, that kid can spin it, because it always, he's a lefty, had that zip on it, man. And he was turning heads before he even, was he committed at that time? I can't remember. I can't remember what it was. I just remember seeing him back on the field throwing. It's like during the summer or something. But yeah, he was special. What's up, Dr. Crystal? How are you? But that was an interesting situation in 2017. Then 2018 was even more interesting because going into that year, it was like, it's hard to explain, man. Nah, it's not really hard to explain. You guys understand. I mean, you got a quarterback in Jalen who was 26-2. And then you had Tua who just got subbed in the national championship game. It's hard for me to say, he won us the national, because, everybody had contributions, including Jalen, right? But you guys know the throw, right? He almost lost it for us, though, taking that sack. But basically, yeah, he has a big throw, obviously. And I'll be honest with you, it was kind of awkward because we knew the coaches were we could tell the coaches were, they try to make it seem like, oh, we're going to have this quarterback battle, but we could feel the vibe, right? They were leaning towards Tua. And then the media made it more awkward because media day, or I forgot, during the summer we were talking to the media, they were asking all this stuff about it, and Jalen called that meeting.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Big shout out to Stephen M. Smith, again, of Pell City High School. He's over there coaching now, working with Nick Gentry, also doing a lot of good stuff with the Bama Standards. So make sure you guys check them out. Check him out as well. Talked a number of things, Alabama, but I want to talk real quick about a couple of things that had come up yesterday after the show, Chase, that I felt were newsworthy. On3, first I'll start here. On3 had made a hypothetical bracket of a 16-team bracket that consisted of the top 16 teams from last season's playoff ranking. So basically, this is how the playoffs would have looked last year. Let me share this for the YouTube audience. This is how the playoffs would have looked last season if we went with the top 16 teams, no automatic qualifiers, just the top 16 teams, kind of like I was saying I felt was better, kind of like Lane Kiffin had come out and said. So here, Andy Staples says, I took Lane Kiffin's best 16 idea and just loaded last season's final CFP rankings into a simple 16-team bracket. So these are the games, Chase. I want you to let me know what you think. Plus, chat, everybody listening, radio, you can always respond to this too. What do y'all think about this if this was a playoff scenario? So let's start with us, right? Alabama, we would have faced Ohio State. That would have been 11 versus 6 matchup. Winner of that game would have gone on to face the winner of Texas and Ole Miss. Off the back, I mean, those are two bangers, right? I mean, Texas, Ole Miss, if like a solid game. Alabama, Ohio State, really good game. Tennessee, SMU, all right. Georgia, South Carolina. Obviously, you see that matchup in SEC East. That's definitely, a very, relevant matchup. But, I mean, in a playoff scenario, I think that'd be a damn good game. Notre Dame, ASU. This side of the bracket's a little bit different. Not as interesting, in my opinion. But Notre Dame, ASU, Miami, Penn State, Indiana, Boise State, and then Oregon, Clemson. I'm not going to lie. That side of the bracket's a little trash. But, yes, our first round matchup would have been against Ohio State. Chase, when you look at that, how do you feel about that compared to what it looked like last year? I know, obviously, there's a lot of complaints about some of the games last year. Looking at this list, I mean, I think Ohio State, Alabama, obviously, phenomenal game. That'd be great. Texas, Ole Miss would be a really good game. Tennessee, SMU, it might have been okay. Georgia, South Carolina would have been a good matchup. Notre Dame, ASU, actually probably would have been a decent game, to be honest with you. Seeing the way ASU played Texas last year, I mean, and I think, obviously Notre Dame, we saw what they did. Miami, Penn State, could have been all right. Indiana, Boise State, trash. Clemson, Oregon, probably would have been solid. So, Chase, when you look at this, I mean, what do you think about this?
We should have had that last year without a doubt. I think viewership probably would have gone through the roof. If anybody is listening, Lane Kiffin, just please be a CFP committee, whatever the title is, because they should have gone with this immediately. You look at Ohio State and Alabama, Jeremiah Smith versus Ryan Williams in the first round. That
would have been tough. Yeah, man. Yeah, you get your popcorn ready on that. I hope we get that matchup this year or next year. Before they leave, I hope we find a way to play them. I guarantee you, if there's some way the committee can find a way to do the rankings so we match up, I guarantee you that happens. People want to see that matchup. That would be lit. Tia's in the chat here. She says Miami versus Penn State game would have been a banger. I think that would have been a solid game. I mean, when I take a second look at the left side, I think it would have been better than I thought. Like Notre Dame, ASU. Like, I think the Cam Scatterboo matchup, Penn State's defense deal, I actually think that would have been a decent game the more I think about it. Miami, Penn State, yeah, I agree. The Boise State, Indiana, just I'm good on that one. But Clemson, Oregon, I think could have been okay. T also says adding games like this, though, is like adding more mileage to these players. People, what's crazy? We used to talk about that so much, like adding games. Are the players going to be able to sustain the games? That was a whole like argument. You know what's crazy, Chase, Tia, everybody? That whole argument is like non-existent now. Like, just think about it. How much do we even talk about like player safety, player sustainability? No one cares anymore, right? Initially, they cared about it, but I think now with NIL and all this other, circus that's going on, people are just kind of like, this should be all right. And to be fair, from like a former player perspective, like, yeah, you don't want to throw in too many extra games, but at the same time, man, the dynamic's different, right? I mean, we're almost treating these guys like pros. I mean, there's compensation involved. If they're going to be getting compensated more and more, I mean, there's expectations. People are going to expect more opportunities to see them play. That's just part of it. It's no different than the NFL, right? I mean, NFL wants to add games, right? Now, it is what it is. We're seeing it a little bit in college. But anyway, that had come up, and I was just curious what y'all's thoughts was on that because, excuse me, I thought y'all's thoughts were on that because I'm with Lane. I'm with anybody that feels, if we're going to 16, cool, but let's just do the top teams, man. Like automatic qualifiers. I respect the SEC, obviously. Love, everything that we represent and, the difficulties and the competitiveness of this conference, and I respect the Big Ten as well. But I just think it gets to, I don't know. I just feel like forget the politics, forget everything, just best teams, period. Best teams. But if we're going to do that, we also need to make sure that the committee is doing their part on when they do these rankings, that they're putting the best teams in there. And we have a true criteria. This is the same thing, just echoing what I said yesterday with my dad, making sure that we have a true criteria in terms of how we're ranking these teams, who's deserving, right? We need to go ahead and have a fine line about the whole the conference champions, all that stuff. Or if you play in that game, you lose that. How does that affect you? If you play a tough schedule, how are you going to be rewarded or at least respected for that? That needs to be clear and no, I guess, arguments needed, right? And I think that'll help things run smoothly. So there is that. Chase, if possible, can we combine these breaks since we're I don't want to hit a break and then come back for like 3 minutes. If that's cool, we'll just keep on rolling.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, perfect. Other news that came up, I want to hit this real quick. So I've been telling you guys that for a while, I've been saying this. If you guys knew, like, behind the scenes, like how this whole collective stuff has been working, these guys, what they're being paid, and just really how it's not like this is what I'm talking about, right? This is exactly sorry, I saw Tia's comment. This is what I was talking about, stuff like this. Kirby comes out and he says, high school recruits are getting paid as much as $20,000. Hold on, I'm not done. $20,000 a month. Not just $20,000, $20,000 a month by collectives to uphold their commitments. And if they decommit, they're asked to return the compensation. Guys, I'm telling you, this thing is a circus, man. So when I talk about, like, you get mad at these players, man, just think about this. A 16, 17-year-old receiving that kind of money, who else do you think is getting part of that money, if not most of it? The parents. Who do you think is going to be sitting there trying to pull strings and do all the and get what I'm saying, like influence and stuff? The parents. That's why I always throw this out there before we get so frustrated with the players. Because again, I hate to say this, but be mad at the system, man. You got to be mad at the system because I'm telling you, man, the fact that people are allowed to be paid just to, commit somewhere, like that's why you're like, guys. Matter of fact, I got this pulled up right here. I'll go back to this. Look at this. This guy in this video, and if you're on our YouTube stream, you can see what we're sharing.
Oh, didn't see you there. Well, all the schools, they all show me, signs of love, but there's one school, show me the most love, and, I guess it's where I'm going. You ready, Coach? Let's get it. Whoa. It's time, baby. Let's go.
Well, indeed, it was not time. So if you're listening via radio, we just watched a commitment video. That was a top recruit who was on a visit to Oregon with one of my former coaches, Dan Lanning, who he was an assistant with the outside linebacker room when I was here at Alabama. And I'm sorry if you guys just had to watch that. They literally jumped into play, cannonballed together. That was one of the most cringiest things I've ever watched. They cannonballed together in a pool to announce the commitment. Why am I telling you about this? Well, we just heard Kirby Smart talk about how much these high schoolers getting paid to commit. How much do you think this 5-star edge rusher got paid to just commit and do a cannonball with Dan Lanning in some random pool in Oregon? Probably a whole hell of a lot of money. But here's the catch. That was just 17 or 18 days ago. Guess what, guys? He's not even committed there anymore. He's not even committed. So Dan Lanning just did that whole, whatever you call that. That was embarrassing. Just for this kid to decommit just over 2 weeks later. I'm telling you, he got some money for whatever the commitment, the cannonball, whatever they want to say he got paid for. He got paid for something. Are they going to be asking for it back? Probably so. Is he going to give it back? I don't know. Half the time, there's not like written language that is included. Now, when you sign and you're agreeing to like an NIL deal from the collective, that's a little bit different, right? Like that is a little bit more official. This crap, there's not probably anything in writing for this kid. Like this kid, hell, I'm not gonna lie. If I could get paid $25K to commit and just go do a cannonball and I can just change my mind a month later, hell, I would probably no, I wouldn't do that. My conscience would. I'm too honest of a person. I couldn't have done that. But it would have been so damn tempting to. I'm not gonna lie to you, Chase. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, man. What I'm getting at is the whole thing Kirby's talking about is true. And that's why I keep saying when we're talking about these kids and the transfer portal wild nonsense that's going on, can you blame these guys when you hear this? Like, Chase, like, come on, let's call a spade a spade. You're 17 years old and you've got a school. I'll just give you like me for an example, right? Like, again, what was it like going into I think I was going to my senior year, but anyway, me and my dad took a couple visits. I can only imagine, I remember we took a trip to Florida State and we went to Florida while we were there. I could only imagine, like, each stop I go, like they're offering me thousands of dollars just to come there and visit, money just to commit. I mean, I'm just like, dude, it's insane. But I'm just going to be honest with you. This isn't cap either. Not that he would come out and just lie about that. I mean, obviously, I think we can all, agree that that would be weird if Kirby just made this up. I know for a fact this goes on. I've known for a fact that this goes on. I know certain schools that I'm not going to name that literally do this frequently. And no, it's not us. No. But I do know of other schools relatively close that do this. And it's part of it. It's part of it. But it's crazy, though, because I'm telling you guys, I mean, oh, man. Chase, is a circus, man. But what do you think about that, Chase? I mean, if you were a high schooler, you ran track, man, you got schools coming at you saying, hey, man, wait, what'd you run? What did you do? What was your event? I forgot.
So I did the 200, the 400, and both the relays, so the 4x1 and the 4x4.
So you did it all. You're doing it. So if you so if you got a school coming at you, Chase, they're like, hey, man, you commit to us, we'll give you, we'll just say, we'll even bump it down to 10. We'll give you 10 grand a month, man, just to commit to us. You committing or what?
I would probably say no because it would go against my character. Because
wow,
I'm not trying to be he's political. Like, I promise, like I would feel horrible like taking that money and being like, you know what, I got Oregon next week, but I just committed to Clemson. Nah, I'll go to Oregon. Like I would feel horrible because like reputation for me matters, especially because like you just don't know who you come across in the future that could help you out. And it's like, I remember you took like $120K in a month. And I'm like,
didn't want to give it back. You know what's crazy? That, I respect you, man, because not a lot of people would give that answer. I'll be honest, Chase. That is
it's not cap, Dr. Crystal. I promise you.
I was about to say though, I do believe you, Chase. I believe you because you're an honest man. You're a great guy, man. You have great character. You were raised right. I will say that. So I do believe what you're saying, but I'm gonna tell you right now, man. If you had that, they brought it out in cash and they're throwing it on the table, Chase. I'm telling you, it might be a little tempting for you. But you know what? I believe you. I'm just going to be honest with me. I feel the same. I try to go about things the right way. But now we're talking about some money, right? If it was like, hey, a couple $1,000, like I'd probably just like, nah, just like you said, protect my character. Hey, man, $20,000. I'm like, I'd probably start reasoning like, well, am I that bad of a person? Everybody else is getting paid. Why shouldn't I get paid? You know what I mean? Because technically, I mean, if it's part of the system, are they really doing something wrong? I guess that's debatable. I don't know. But I just saw this and I'm like, well, he's just going ahead and being transparent with the whole deal. This definitely has been going on again. People, if you know, you know. But it's crazy. He's just flat out saying it. But these coaches are sick of it, man. Think about that. And if you guys ever wonder why they keep asking us donate, it's not just to pay the guys on the team. It's to pay these 17-year-olds that are literally just flying around the country, going on visits, posting social media posts at every place, taking pictures in the gear just to get paid, man. It's crazy. Oh, God, Chase, I wish I had a time machine. Nah, a time machine wouldn't do me any justice because I wouldn't get paid back then. So I don't know. Maybe I just wish I was in this generation. These guys are just getting paid for the silliest things, man. Go do a cannonball with Dan Lanning and commit, and you get about 20 grand. You can't make this stuff up, man. We got to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling on this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, live on YouTube as well, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Coming up on the game.
Let's see. Dang, Tia, no faith. We would have lost in the first round. Let me not sit here and lie. Let me be honest. Let me learn from Chase about sticking to my my dignity and character. Would I have been confident of us playing Ohio State in the first round? Probably not. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. Given how we just have been so inconsistent. I mean, and look, guys, before you get mad at me, I mean, you tell me after watching how we played against Oklahoma, you'd feel confident for us to go play Ohio State, which I'd imagine we would be on the road. Come on now. Yeah, it probably wouldn't have been great. But T, y'all got to get off my guy Steven M, man. Y'all got to give it up, man. Come on, man. Y'all done gave him a hard time for like 3 years now, if not longer. Over was one of those takes. Y'all are funny, man. Dan Diddy landing is crazy. That's crazy. Let me go out and put a football in my 4-year-old's hand. Time to prep for this NIL. What are you waiting for, Dr. Crystal? I would have had that football in his hand. What? When did this come out? 4 years ago? I hate to sound like let me not sound like that, because I'll be honest, guys. The parents are the ones that drive me nuts the most, man. You know what's sad is it's really the parents that don't know how to act with all this, man. If I had $1 for every time I saw these parents like riding their kids and it's oh man, don't get me started on that. The parents are the problem, honestly. I hate to say it like that, but it's true, man. Like, I totally understand, parents invest a lot. I mean, I know all the sacrifices my mom made, 100%. I try to get that. But there's a line in terms of the way these parents go about this stuff, and they're like using their children. They're like forcing their kids, like, oh, if you need to tell that coach if they're not going to do this, we're there's a bunch of we are instead of you are, like the kid. I mean, look at the whole Nico Iamaleava situation, man. And that's just like a popular one. This crap goes on all the time. We're not on there. We're on YouTube right now, so I'm good. Let's see. Oh God, don't get me started on that too. That video is corny as hell. That part. But that's what these coaches do, man. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, I'll be honest, like if I had a coach acting like weird, corny like that when I was getting recruited, like I don't know. Cause I'm just a realist. Like, I'm not dumb. I'm like, to me, I act how you would act when I'm on campus here. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be doing cannonballs with me when I'm signed and on campus here. That's cap. And I'm smart enough to know that. So I would see through all that nonsense. If a coach was acting like overly friendly and like that, like I just was like, man, I'm cool on all that, man. Like, let's talk business. You know what I mean? Like, how do you see me in your system? What is your plans for my development? What are the resources here academically, athletically? Hell, I know I'm 10 years from that, so obviously it sounds like, oh, you probably learned. No, but you can ask anybody. I really was like that, like, come out of high school, man. That's why I respected Coach Saban so much. Like, anytime I talked to Coach Saban, I mean, it was.
And if you can't,
it wasn't any of that. I mean, probably the furthest he went was. I remember he did tell me, he's like, you're the number one Sam on our board. Sam, like, outside linebacker, the position. And I remember I was like, I believe it, but at the same time, it's definitely probably a stretch. Like, he probably told Rashawn Evans that as well. My dog. Shout out to Razor, man. I got to get Razor back on the show.
I also know
But they're recruiting both of us. Obviously, we both signed, which I love that
Alabama
idea.
Army National
But when he said that, I'm like, man, I know he probably told him the same thing.
Association and this station.
Tide 100.9 Tusk.
Because like on some sites, like he was like the number one outside linebacker. On other ones, I was like 2 or 3. On one of them, I was 1. Other ones, I was like 2 or 3.
6.
But anyway, I just knew. I was like, yeah, no, he probably told that too. Other than that, though.
3. I'm James Spann of the
Wasn't
ABC
it Captain
30
Hits
Weather
Route?
Center on Tide 100.9. It's 70 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Thursday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Hour number 1, we are joined by Stephen M. Smith of Pell City High School, also the Bama Standard. Big shout out to him, joining us, talking all things Alabama football. And we continue the conversation with a couple of different things. Really, we were talking about the potential 16-team playoff bracket that would have been the case last season. And then we segued into this whole Kirby Smart thing where he came out and said, look, there's high schoolers getting paid as much as $20K a month just to be committed. But if they decommit, these schools are coming after that money. They want it back, which clearly I don't blame them. I would too. And I think I saw Tia ask a question regarding that. What are the legal ramifications of getting the money back? If I'm the kid's parent, we will commit for the bag, but I'm not signing any papers, getting the money and going where we want to go. Now again, it's probably a little bit different in different places. So let me just speak on from what I know, right? The situations that I know of guys being paid to be committed, right, before they have signed a letter of intent, because I've heard of that even way before this. I mean, this goes back over a year. There was no legal binding agreement. To my knowledge, there was no legal binding agreement. That said, I don't know what measures they could, use or how far they could go to try to find ways to still get that back without it being in writing. And there's probably not much, but I'm sure if you hired the right lawyer, they could come up with something. But that's kind of how I've seen it. There's not really the high school thing. Again, it's different when these guys sign that letter of intent and they're on campus and they're getting, because again, typically how it works. Let me just refresh everybody. This is how the NIL stuff works typically. Yes, you can get paid before, but let's talk about after. You sign your letter of intent, say y'all agreed on, we'll just make it an easy number, which again, this is a very high number, but we'll just say $500,000. It's a really good number. It's not all up front. It's kind of like, signing bonus is something. So you get money up front when you sign. And then there's an agreement of like installment payments or just like monthly stipends over the course of the next few years, right? So that could be, say it's like 500. If it's five, now again, there's difference. Sometimes it's $500,000 annually, $500,000 for the duration of the time you're in college. It depends. If it's annually, obviously they split that up monthly. So as long as you're with the team, you're not in the transfer portal, you're an active member, you're getting what they agreed to, right? And there is more actual stuff on that. Now it is interesting because they do have ways to like technically they can technically I don't want to get too deep into this, but they pay you what they pretty much agree to. Now if they're doing the right thing, some schools have been put in the spotlight of saying, hey, they're just throwing numbers around, and that never happens, right? So there are a lot of situations where guys do kind of get led on to, I'm going to make this amount of money, but then they get there and it's not the case. So it definitely can vary. But yeah, typically it's not really, at least in the high school, at the high school level, it's not really in writing like that. at least from everything that I've seen. Could be different with other situations, but that's what I've seen on that. The other part was my thoughts on Jaden Daniels' mom. I feel like she's going. Excuse me. I feel like she's looking out for her son, and I feel like she's doing it the right way, and she's getting knocked for it. So yeah, that question came up because of the whole I was describing. It might have been during the break. I can't remember if I was talking live or during the break with the YouTube stream. But basically, I was saying how the parents really are some of the biggest issues here when it comes to this stuff because they're the ones like most of the time. Like it's just think about it. Do you think a 17-year-old kid would go into a coach's office and say like, "Oh, I need this"? No, like they might make comments like, like, "Oh, this school offered this. Like, what can you?" Yes. But these parents, like, they're literally like playing as if they're like Suge Knight or something sometimes. Like, and it's like holding it over these coaches or, oh, if we don't get this, we're hitting the portal. It's crazy. But anyway, the point about Jaden Daniels' mom, I'll be honest with you, I think she does a little too much because he's grown, man. I mean, that dude is a grown man. I'm all for like being protective and making sure like, he's making the right decisions. He's not getting himself in any situations. But I feel like every single clip I see of him anywhere outside of football practice, like she's like over his shoulder hovering. Basketball game, downtown, like everywhere. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she follows him to the club. My thing is like, dude, at that age, if you haven't instilled in him or if he doesn't understand by now, like I need to make good choices and surround myself by the right people and not put myself in these, situations. That to me, that's just kind of crazy that you don't trust him enough just to do that. I mean, I would imagine he knows. If anything, sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes when you parent, when you parent like that, I feel like kids turn out the opposite. Like when you hover over them too much, they end up being like more rebellious. And he don't even have that choice because she's literally breathing on his neck 24/7. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. Chase, have you seen what we're talking about? You know what we're talking about with Jaden Daniels and his mom is always being like next to him. Like there was a clip, like he's at a basketball game with like Juju Watkins. They were kind of, just chatting, looked friendly. You know what I'm saying? Maybe could have been a little flirtatious, but the mom's like side eyeing. What do you think about this? Do you feel like she's doing too much or what?
At first, no, because like you don't really see that with high profile athletes having their mom around, kind of shield them a little bit because it does get crazy when it comes to relationships and that category. But it's starting to get a little too much because I feel like Jaden, he just can't go anywhere. He's a very smart individual. How he holds himself, he kind of reminds me of like Jalen Miro a little bit. He can hold a conversation. He knows how to really network and really pull a team, whether it's on and off the field. He has the tangibles of a great human being, but he can't really grow if his mom is there like 25-8, just when he meets somebody. Because I don't know where Jaden stands on where he wants a relationship or what that looks like, but I would imagine his partner would be a little overstimulated with their mom being there, even though that, especially with, how she holds Jaden to a standard and like, you better follow that standard or you're not going to be in the fold. So just ease off just a little bit. You can still be like, I want this for my son, be on podcasts and stuff. We love that having parents involved, especially with athletes, but just kind of have a little bit off the pedal and I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, you're talking about this guy is like a franchise quarterback, grown man. Tia probably knows his age. I don't know. I'm assuming he was in college for a minute, so I would assume he's at least 24, 25-ish, maybe in that range. Well old enough to make his own decisions. It's too much. I'm sharing this picture here with the stream of his mom right here in the Escalade. She's in the Escalade, waiting on him. Looks like he's got his phone out. Now I'm not trying to, watching him, but it looks like he might be getting a number. Little female sitting right there. I don't know what the deal is here, but I'm just like, she's like, I'm just gonna be. I would be embarrassed if I was him. It's too much. This is in Miami. They probably went out to eat, went to a nice restaurant, but he's just trying to talk again because it's not just this. The picture or the video, I should say, of him at the basketball game. It's a little too much, man. It's a little too much. But again, like you said, it's nice to have a parent that cares, right? When they're protected, that normally means they care. But I think it's just a little much, man. I mean, it almost is given like she's his girlfriend type, and not to be weird, but I mean that like the behaviors almost come off kind of in like it's a little bit too much. But she spoke on it, talking about. Let me listen to this real quick.
The good woman you are, also raising a daughter, why have you been so diligent about protecting Jaden from the wrong woman?
So first and foremost, I have a meme out there, and it's funny. So I can't laugh. I can only laugh about it. But the whole girls comment was made first of all 2 years when he was at LSU, and it was a question asked like, "What is your biggest fear?" And that should be every parent's biggest fear. That should be, if you're a star athlete and you're a female in WNBA, that should be your biggest fear is, the men or, the women, because you're a public figure and, your dollar amount is associated with your name. So you never know who really is there for you and who's really against you. And our thing is like, I want Jaden to date. I don't want everybody to say I'm putting it on record. My son can date. He can live freely, makes his own decisions. However, the relationship we have, he does value my opinion because, when my kids were little, I did a lot for them. So, and my kids saw that. My father, my background, I worked too hard to allow anybody at any moment to come in and just, take it away. So I have a view of what I feel a good person is. Mm-hmm. And, but my son is 24 and he does have to go through things and he has to learn on his own. And, he's a great kid and I'm thankful for him. He's, not like some of these other guys, he's really to himself. He's a homebody. He just really is. He's really loves sports. Like he really is. So I'm trying to work on his afterlife after sports because at some point it does end. And I don't want him to just be like, now what do I do? So I want to keep him involved in the world and, have opened up a lot of doors. Like I'm in charge of his foundations. We're trying to build facilities and, back in his hometown that are going to help the youth and things like that. So that's what I'm in charge of on top of his everyday business dealings. And, like I said, dealing with creative teams. I'm dealing with the creative side. I'm doing the storybooks and how we're positioning him and, all this other stuff. So it's not just about you guys seeing me out and thinking we're just like hanging party.
I mean, there are like so many pieces of the way people sort of try to attack you or critique you. There are all of these moments on social media. There are these viral moments that people use to sort of pick apart who you are, your proximity to Jaden, and kind of what that means. What do you say about some of those moments?
The context is always put out. It's unfortunate we're in a world now where clickbait is it, right? I mean, I'm on TikTok and I'm like, man, I'm on TikTok and I'm like, God, like, and it takes a lot out of you to not respond because some of this stuff you're just like, you just want to go full-fledged. I mean, I'm getting tagged on Twitter. I'm getting threatened. It's like nuts. It's crazy. And I'm like, all because of like, I'm a mom that protects my son and I don't have a problem with it. I hold to it, but the narratives don't need to be painted even worse. But like I said earlier, it's new to them. Like what parent is certified and handling all their kids' business affairs, that's a top 2 athlete right now. It's kind of hard. So, but I just want my son to play the game he loves at the highest level. And we always say, keep the main thing, the main thing. And in the world that we're in, it's hard to keep the main thing without a good support system around you.
So there's that. So I'll stop it there because I know we got to hit a timeout. But I'll be honest with you. After hearing that, I do. I respect her. I get what she's trying to do. Protect her son. She wants him to be able to focus on what he loves and wants to do, is just play football while she helps him manage everything. But I think what I'm hearing to me is I'll just be honest. It comes off as a little overbearing. Like she's saying like she handles his day to day, his foundation. I mean, like at some point, now I know, and I'll say this, I know, look, I played in the NFL. I get there's, guys, especially, I was not a franchise quarterback by any means, but guys in those positions, they do need assistance with doing a lot of things like that, and they hire people for that kind of stuff. But and so why wouldn't you want to hire someone close like your mother that knows you well, has your best interest? That's great, but at the same time, like I think she's got to let him kind of figure it out a little bit. I know she said she lets him figure stuff out on his own, but I don't think she understands really what that makes. He's got to. At some point, I just feel like he might get so used to just everybody just doing everything that I don't know. Like maybe right now it's cool because he does need to focus on his job. I get all that, but I don't know. My opinion, again, not that it matters. I think she does a little too much. It's funny how we got on this topic. We're talking about the recruits' parents, but this is a very interesting thing because a lot of people do discuss this, and she is right. She's been on some memes and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm gonna read y'all's comments here in the chat and see what y'all think about that. But personally, I think she's a little too extra. But what's crazy is, I mean, I'd rather the parent be like this, or they're just protecting their kid and they're trying to go about it. She's doing what typical people would do if they were hired to do those things, but she's just his mother. Versus these parents that I'm seeing with like recruiting and stuff, which they're not certified, qualified, like she's discussed, and they're just trying to just use their kids to get money. That's a little bit different. So, all right, we got to hit a timeout. We come back, we keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, and live on YouTube at the Miller's Edge as well. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. All right. She explained a lot of the events. You see them with business meetings at places afterwards. She handles the business, has a degree in it. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It definitely, I mean, like she said, I mean, social media is going to always portray things differently, right? I mean, like, of course, us looking at these clips, just like I was wrong. I was saying, oh, it looks like they're at dinner or something like that, which they probably were at dinner, but leaving a business meeting. But you get what I'm saying. I didn't have the full context, and it does look one way, but I don't know. Again, I've just been around a lot of, athletes, professional athletes. I've seen a number of different. Everybody goes about it different. You got some people whose family is really involved, overly involved, not really involved. I mean, it's I guess it's just all depending on what you prefer. I don't know. To me, I don't know. I just think it's a little much. As a mom, you got to cut the cord and believe you've raised and be responsible. That's kind of where I'm going with it, Dr. Crystal. That's exactly kind of how I feel. Like at some point, like she's got to take a step back or two. Like if it's business is business, but like it almost seems like she has like this anxiety that like he will of like him being compromised, whether it's from a female, bad decision, doing something. And she's like trying to have all the control and the power to prevent that from happening. Cause it's like her biggest fear is, to him to lose all the stuff he's worked for, which is valid. But the misconception is her, shadowing him in every step. I just think it's too much. But it also, and again, I hate to be like this, but it makes you wonder, like is she more worried for him to lose it because of his passion for it, or is she worried about him losing it because then she loses the benefits? I'm not accusing her of that. I'm just saying that is a thing. I'm just an honest person. Let me be careful though, because people got upset when I just pointed out young man's mom had Louis Vuitton earrings, shoes, and a bag in the picture for what's it called. And somebody got upset with me saying that. I'm like, no, I'm just calling a spade a spade. I'm just like, if he's buying a car here, I mean, he might have potentially bought her that stuff. And I'm just saying, as somebody who's an honest person, that's not financial advice that I would recommend for an 18-year-old. Really in general, but especially for an 18-year-old. I can't remember who made the comment about that, but I'm not going to back down on that, man. Financial advice is financial advice. If it's not a smart decision, I'm just going to be honest. You can take with it what you want, but that's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to go down that road right now.
Tomorrow, a few passing showers and thunderstorms, the high 79. Saturday, a sunny day with a high at 83. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 69 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art sport experts. We've been a little slow on the phone lines, 205-342-9904. If you guys want to get in on the conversation, you got anything on your mind, man, hit us up. We got a great conversation going. Oh, never mind. I lied. Maybe, I'm sorry. We do have some folks on the phone line. I'm not getting these notifications like I'm supposed to be. It's not your fault, Chase. It's my fault. I'm not I'm so busy talking and doing everything else on the screen, man. We're not slow on the phone lines. I'm slow on getting to the phone lines. So let's oh man, let's do that real quick. I just want to read these comments real quick while this still is on topic. Because y'all got a really good discussion. Again, if you guys haven't checked out our YouTube, man, you're missing out. We got an interactive chat. The more of you guys in here interacting, so the more fun I'm sure it is for you guys. So if you listen on the app, listen on the radio, not saying this on that's awesome. Always encourage that. Obviously, we are a radio show. But if you want to add it like an extra layer, right, where you can watch me do the show, interact with the chat and stuff, come and join the YouTube chat, man. It's in the stream in general. It's fun. Real quick, before we go to the phone lines. I just want to get some of y'all's thoughts out here. Dr. Crystal said, as a therapist, the language she uses about him is interesting. Q06 thinks that she needs to keep him moving and he's no longer a child. So it sounds like Tia's more on the lines like she's with it. You guys are like, it's too much, which I feel that. Tia says, if my mom has a business degree and has successfully ran business, I'd rather her handle it than other people that would be trying to, potentially, mess me up. Which I get. Now that was the point I made. I mean, if you're going to hire other people to basically do these tasks anyways, I mean, why not look immediately there? Because then you're also helping your family. Like I'm all for that. I think it's great. I'm just saying, if her job is to run the foundation, run the foundation. You don't need to be at every event, this and that. Now, if it's like, I guess she's manager, not manager, agent. She's agent too. I don't know. Let me not talk too much because I know we're actually loaded on the phone lines, not slow. So, but yeah, I'm with you, Dr. Chris. So if he has a degree, excuse me, if he has a sense of dependency, he probably wouldn't say no. Yeah, and maybe he's kind of just used to that. She made it seem like, if you think about it, the way she was talking was like, oh, they've seen me do this. I've always done this. It's interesting. Anyway, I'll get back into the chat in a little bit because it's definitely some really interesting stuff. Let's go to the phone lines, 25342-9904. Up first, we got Pat. Pat, welcome in.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah, what's up, Pat?
Did Coach DeBoer last night get something almost as good as getting a bag full of money in order for his recruiting weekend this weekend with having Coach Oates do what he needed to do in order to? And I wish that Monday, if I would have known this Monday, I would have gone to the casinos and I would have put 500 down on Alabama going to the Final Four. And I'm not a gambler.
Me neither.
I don't think it would have been a gamble.
So you feel good about them, with LeBaron Fallon coming back? You think they're going to the Final Four now?
And what chances he had before have gone up astronomical with LeBaron. I mean, it's. I said, early on, they was asking the question, well, do you think they're going to be able to get back to the Final Four? I said, without LeBaron, chances are nil.
Yeah, I mean,
but
we'll see. No, he's definitely a really good player. I just was kind of confused because, correct me if I'm wrong, I swore he made a comment like, I made my decision, I'm not going back. Like he was pretty firm on being, staying in the NBA draft. And now it's kind of like switching
Yeah,
gears.
he
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm
just-
still happy for him, but I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
nowadays with the back and forth, man. I mean, like, I'll be honest, I take what a lot of these young guys say with a grain of salt nowadays. Because I mean, like, just like literally, the guy said, "Oh no, I'm sticking with NBA draft. I'm not going back." And then, boom.
Yeah.
At least it's good news, though.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't thoroughly close the door. I mean, but supposedly, there was a rumor around that he had signed with an agent. Obviously, that wasn't true. He may have signed with an NIL agent, but not with a quote NBA agent or with a lawyer that handled that kind of stuff. And that's the deal. What you're talking about with his Daniel's mama. If she's not an actual NFL agent, if she's not a member of the NFL PC or not an agent, she shouldn't be keeping her mouth shut. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, I don't. Wow, dang, Pat.
I mean, hey, let's go back to, and you're talking about paying your kin folks. Let's go back to, and I won't mention his name because he's close to the program, but there was an athlete in this state, I'll say in this state, and from somewhere in Florida, but there was an athlete, he was from Florida, that family just about ruined him between his mama having to have a fantastic size house somewhere other than where they used to live, and brothers wanting jobs that if they would have been getting $5,000 a month would have been a tremendous pay for them.
Yeah, and see,
I mean,
I'm glad you brought up that example because there's a couple people.
Weren't him.
Yeah, no, and that's a really good example to bring up because I when I was making, when we discussed the whole thing about the gifting and the Mercedes, again, awesome gesture. I think that's very great to be considerate and thoughtful. But again, from the financial side of things, that's where I start leaning into as a 17, 18-year-old.
Would have been a lot of money.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? I just think, financially, it's just so important that you make the right decisions. Even if you want to help people out as bad as you do, it has to make sense, because what happens is if you don't make the right decisions, it's not going to be sustainable. Then you all lose in the end. Then nobody's, even including yourself, who's worked for that.
I mean,
you all are out
because as you know, any player is one hit away from not getting another check. That's why they should get paid a lot of money. That's why college players should be getting paid. I got no issue with paying college players, but I got a big issue when people don't make good decisions. I mean, that's just like there was a player up in D.C. that was in an area, and it wasn't his. I mean, but had he been driving an old pickup truck like I drive, that he might have got jacked, but probably not. I mean, your area where you are, and I understand all that, and I know that's all. I mean, that's not being prejudiced, Christian. That's not just. I'm just saying, being sensible for the areas that you're in. Hey, you don't flash. If you flash, you go to New Orleans and you flash, you more than likely going to get robbed.
True. That's true. Yeah, and I've always been more of on the modest side, but I respect people's, they have, whatever they want to do. That's their life.
They haven't had anything, and I understand all of that, and all that's great. But I mean, there's a place for it, and more than likely, and I mean, and even if you wear glass versus real diamonds,
they don't know the difference.
That can get your hand cut off too.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's definitely good advice for these guys to be aware of that, man. What they're wearing and what they're doing, right? Yeah, you're right. I mean, making smart decisions are really important, and that's why I don't have a problem with his mom just trying to. Again, I know her intentions are well. I definitely do. Yeah. I just think she was kind of.
And another prime example is MC Hammer. Nobody. The major reason. I'll tell you, my son was an NFL agent. The major reason that kids are broke in the NFL, or that a tremendous amount of NFL players are broke, is one word. It ain't women, it ain't drugs, it's entourage. No one can afford an entourage. MC Hammer who was a fantastic dancer, as you well know, could not afford an entourage.
No, yeah, and that's just one way to, like you said, just run your pockets dry. That's why I think, even when I see guys that because I know a lot of players that just literally they give their family money. I know some people that literally just they pay their family each month, and that's entirely up to them. I get it. A lot of people have made sacrifice to help them get there. I'm not saying you don't help take care of people, but I think sometimes it doesn't always teach the right thing, and not like you need to teach your parents or anything. But what I'm getting at is, I think there's different ways to go about it. Like, instead of just paying, because I think what happens is people just get used to you giving and giving, and then they just keep wanting more and more. It would be better if you find ways to put them in positions for them to then make money, right? Whether it's, help them start something. That way, then they have their own money coming, and it's not like you giving and giving yours. Because like I said, what happens is it's going to run you dry. Then nobody's benefited. So it's a very interesting thing, especially it's important for athletes to learn these types of things, especially at a young age, because, there are plenty of examples of athletes that unfortunately were in great positions, made a lot of money, and then it didn't last at all because they didn't have the right people telling them, hey, man, I know you want to help this person, but you have to learn to say no. That's one thing that athletes – that's one word they got to learn pretty quickly, man, and you got to learn it a lot earlier now. Yeah, before it was like, hey, once you go to the NFL, you need to learn the word no. Now it's like, hey, at 17 years old, you need to learn the word no, because you're making, like we just heard Kirby say, up to $20K a month to commit somewhere. You don't think these people are going to be asking a naive 17-year-old for money? Come on, man. It's
well, hey, that's just like that Lamborghini out there. If he got a Lamborghini, I don't know whether he did or didn't, but if he would have gone and got him an F-250 diesel pickup truck, hey, he would have been a whole lot better off and paid a whole lot less taxes.
Right. It's going to, that, and it's going to retain the value a lot better. You go pay it, $250 for a $250,000 Lamborghini in a few years is worth maybe $160 versus the F-250.
Oh, yes.
The depreciation is going to be, you're
going
to retain the value.
Sure.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man.
Thanks for taking my call. But man, this weekend, I really think that Coach Oates helped Coach DeBoer for this weekend. We shall see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I think it's going to be a good weekend, man. We'll definitely we'll be in tune with it. Pat, you take care, brother.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we got to hit time. We come back. We keep on rolling on the phone lines, 205-342-9904. Right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Love me some Christian. He's I tried to stomach. So, listen, Pat means well. He might not know the whole circumstances with, that's a great example of what she was saying with like the social media stuff, man. The man can say if they want regards to their kids. Yeah, it love Pat, but it came off a little harsh. Not gonna lie to you, it came a little harsh. He's a good dude. I know he does mean well, but sorry guys. I hope that didn't bother y'all too much. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Who are you talking about? Q06. Who's got a Birkin bag? Oh God, see, y'all gonna get me in trouble, man. I'm not. Oh gosh. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
They can't find you, but they find your competitor right there at the top of the results page.
And even if they do find your website, when they click, it's like a ghost town.
Hello?
Outdated, not compelling, and perhaps worse, it has information that's not accurate.
Y2K?
But how do you fix that? At Town Square Interactive, we have the tools to help you maximize your online presence. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com and start by getting a free local customer analysis.
This online tool will show you just how many customers in your area you could be reaching. To get in front of those customers, we will build a premium website for your business.
One that shows up well in web searches and converts website clicks into phone calls, appointments, and foot traffic.
It's simple, it's fast, and it's affordable. Go to mylocalcustomers.com and get started by getting your free local customer analysis today.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR.
Hold on. What we got in here? What's going on here? Do your research on it? Some other shit has ran several businesses. My guy. You talking about? Oh, you're talking about. See, well, yeah, I don't know who. That's why I was asking which one he was talking about.
Over a lane when you.
He might have been talking about the other one. I don't even want to bring it up because I don't want people to get all frustrated, man. I just offer my 2 cents, just try to help people out.
Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art sport experts. But don't forget about our friends over at R&R Cigars. If you're in the mood to go hang out, looking for a spot that you can go enjoy a nice cigar, nice stick, over 160 bourbons, you got to check out R&R Cigars, 2703 Gary Fitz Street here in Tuscaloosa. Big old mansion wraparound porch. Again, they always are playing the football games, basketball games, baseball games, softball, you name it. A lot of good people hanging out there, fellowshipping, and just having a good time with a nice cigar, a nice drink responsibly. You can't beat it. Plus, you also can't beat these deals that are on their website. 20% off of any 20 cigars. Build your perfect selection. Father's Day coming up. Great gift idea. And $100 or more, you get free shipping. So check them out today. 205-722-2741 is the number. Website, rnrcigars.com. 2703 Gary Fitz Street here in Tuscaloosa. Again, check them out today. They are the official cigar provider of Alabama football and have been so since 2014. All right, let's keep on rolling on the phone lines because we are loaded there. We got our buddy Mike up next. Mike, you still with us?
Hi, Christian. How you doing this afternoon?
What's up, Mike? I'm good. How are you?
What's going on? I'm doing good. Hey, just real quick follow up on this Jaden Daniels thing. The only thing you got to listen to in that interview with the mom, speaking of the parent, is that 15 seconds where she goes, "I trust Jaden. He can do what he wants. He's free to do what he wants. However," and then she says "however" and underlines that word. She, that's troublesome to hear that. I as a parent, I guess. So I don't see this ending well, especially if he does get married. I feel bad for whoever he gets married to. I mean, it's great. It's great that he trusts her.
Think about trying to narrow that down. Dude, that young lady is going to have to go through hoops and hurdles to get her approval.
Yeah, I'm all for families staying together and whatnot. I hope it works out. I just see this 10 years down the road, like a story on, in Sporting News or whatever like that, where they're suing each other because, the money stopped rolling in or whatever. But I hope I'm wrong, but it just, I don't know, helicoptering your parent when he's 25 years old. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if you want the pastor out clubbing with you every night.
Probably good on that. But no, I will be honest. He used to come, when I was in college, I mean, he'd come hang out and smoke a cigar and stuff. But see, it was never like, oh, I'm here to make sure Christian is number one. I didn't go out. I hardly drank like that. Like, it was literally just like, he's in town. He likes to smoke a cigar. He likes watching sports after the game. There'd be, Pac-12 games on. we might be at a place, but like other than that, yeah, no, it's they're totally different. And my mom was, she definitely was protective and looked out, but never once did it ever cross a line where it's like controlling. I can't, no. But she definitely had my best interest, and that's why I look at this. And I'm like, I know what balance looks like, and to me, this isn't the most balanced. It's a little bit too much, but again, that's their dynamic. Who am I to judge? I mean, hopefully it works out.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. My phone's on. If they make a mistake, let's fix it. What can I do to help you? Other than that, you learn and you're out on your own. Hey, quick question here. With the recruits coming in and stuff like that, I've always wondered what are the obligations or what are the responsibilities, if any, of the players that are on the team when recruits come on board? Do the coaches tell you guys like you need to make yourselves available, or hey, like we got a linebacker coming in this weekend, Christian, can you make sure you're available for about an hour? Or how does that all work? Like, how do you guys tie into all that stuff? And also, like, is there any, like, from guys that have graduated, gone to the NFL, is it just like however they help out, or do people reach out to them to help with recruiting? Like, how do the players get involved? I know how the coaches do it, but how do you guys get involved in all that?
Really good question, Mike. Really good question. So typically the way that it works is, so you got, the people coordinating these guys to come on the visit. So normally the people in the recruiting department, they get them here. Then obviously the coaches as well. Coaches spend a lot of time with them when they're on campus. We all know that. But where the players come in is typically the coaches will ask certain players, right, that they feel like would be good fits or that might have something in common. Obviously, if they play the same position, that's a big one. But even if it's like off-field stuff, I'll give you an example. And this, again, is a really good question. They knew that I loved to fish. I was an outdoorsman off the field. So when I came on a visit, they paired me up with people that they knew kind of had similar interests, right? I mean, like Michael Nicewinder. Like I was hanging out with him. I was from the Carolinas. One time I hung out with Jeffrey Pagan. He's from North Carolina. He also played defense. I was with Vinny Sinceri a little bit too. So they try to pair guys up with guys that they think, might have something in common, same position, stuff like that. So basically it's just the coaches. And what it used to be was it would normally say they come in on a weekend. They would ask us, show them a good time, right? Whether that's, going out to a bar, whether that's just going to eat. And sometimes if you're like me, who I wasn't into that stuff, it consists of, going hanging out at their dorm or apartment, playing video games and just chopping it up and asking them questions, kind of, what's it like to go here? What's it like playing for, Coach Saban? What was it like? What are practices like? I mean, stuff like that. So it can vary. In terms of former players, they don't reach out much. I mean, I'm sure maybe some schools might. I mean, here, I don't think they do it a whole bunch. I'm sure there's been times where if a coach is close with a certain player, right, and he knows said recruit is a big fan of that guy or something like that, they'll, shoot a guy a text, maybe shoot Will Anderson a text. Hey, Will, man, we got this kid we're really big on. You mind just if I FaceTime you with him in the office? Stuff like that, very normal. Keelan Keeley randomly, he reached out to me. And it wasn't like that was set up. He watched me growing up, and he reached out to me. He had some questions about, playing here and my thoughts about coming here. And so there's some organic opportunities like that. But typically that's how it works, Mike. The coaches normally just say like, hey, man, we got some guys coming in, and they ask certain guys to host these players, right? So basically that's what it is. And now with these guys getting NIL and compensation, all that, before you might have had a little bit of a choice. Maybe you could turn it down. You're like, I got plans this weekend. I don't feel like hosting the kid. Now I'm pretty sure they don't really have a choice. And what I've seen, this new staff, they try to bring like everybody on board. So if they've got an outside linebacker coming into town, they would have like damn near the whole outside linebacker room hanging out with this guy, going, to the stadium with him, hyping him up, stuff like that. So that's typically how it works. That's a really good question, though.
Yeah, I was always wondered, like, if it was, some type of mandatory that, look, we got recruiting weekend, so we, like a team meeting, want you guys available or whatever. Hang out there.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it mandatory, but it's kind of like maybe voluntary mandatory, which like, if you obviously have an obligation, Mike, you could probably say, coach, I can't really do it, but you don't want to come off as that guy. You know what I mean? Because these are like your coaches asking you this. Like, it's a bad look if they're like, hey man, we got this kid coming in, and you're just kind of like, oh no, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. You want to build the program, leave it better than you found it. Absolutely. So
exactly.
Very
Really
cool.
good question, man.
Very cool.
Mike, we got 2 more
All right,
callers
appreciate
now.
it.
I'm gonna try to squeeze them in
Yep,
here real quick. I
I'm about to
appreciate
bail.
you, man.
I know you got calls. You take a have a great day. We'll talk to you.
Yes, sir. That sounds good. I appreciate it, Mike. Hey, Chase, if we can, let's can we combine these breaks and just keep rolling? Is it all right?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, thank you, man. I'm the king of combining breaks, man. But it's just I feel like it just keeps everybody engaged, and we're already rolling. Let's see if Digger's still there. I don't know if Digger's still with us. Are you with us, Digger?
I'm still here.
There he
You know,
is. What's up,
sometimes
Digger?
Pat's got to listen to himself on the radio when he thinks up.
Oh
He said, you got to make sensible decisions. Really? I just heard you say you would put 500 down on Alabama making the Final Four. There's nothing sensible about that. Nothing. Trust me.
Man.
Pat, I'll take your money. Venmo me the money. I got it right here in my pocket. I'll hold on to it until you lose, buddy. Come on.
Wow.
Now, look, listen,
That's hilarious.
Quinn Ewers is in the same situation. His mother made the ultimate decision. If you want to go to Ohio State and leave early, fine, but you're going to need somebody to watch the money while you're in school.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, I'll do that. Well, you know, sure enough, what happened, he was there for a cup of coffee. All right, he had to get back the truck, had to get back the $1 million, and he came back home to Texas. Right now, as we speak, he has $8.5 million in the bank, and his mother's watching it. Okay.
Wait, how do you know that? How do you know that?
Because it's all been revealed. Because she hired the agent. Okay. She told Quinn, you've got to go hire an agent if you're going to go pro. It's your decision, right? And so they go together and they hire the agent. And guess what? The agent turned around and hired her, looking after Quinn's affair. So look, there's nothing wrong with that. The Mannings do it. Okay, the McCaffreys do it. Nothing wrong with the family looking after their kids when they're making money. The problem I'm having here is when you're sponging off your kids. When I hear Shaquille O'Neal buys 3 Mercedes in 1 week after getting a $1 million bonus and the checks are bouncing left and right at the bank, that's a problem. Okay? Don't be taking money from your kids if they earned it. That's the problem I have. And Pat should know that. By the way, too legit to quit. MC Hammer. There you go. I'll let you go.
Appreciate it, Digger. Oh, Digger's got a lot of really good points, man. He's hilarious making it. I'm looking at this now. Okay, so Quinn Ewers was paying his mom a salary with his $4.5 million NIL money, allegedly. But again, I think there's a line when you look at this stuff, right? Right? Okay, it's one thing if you're just paying out money to pay out money. It's another thing if you're doing it in a smart way, right? But again, I mean, without pocket watching, I think everybody is entitled to do what they feel they want to do. So I didn't realize he was paying his mom a salary, though. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, that's something you see like NFL guys do, but if he was doing, that's crazy. Now, the whole thing, I didn't know when he said he left her with the money if something went bad with that or what. I don't know. Tia said you're leaving out the part where current players get paid if the kid they host commits. See, I'm not going down all that stuff, man. I'm not getting into all that. Maybe there's a reward if guys commit. I think probably varies on the coach, but maybe. I'm not going to sit on here and say that. Anyway, let's keep on rolling. I think we got one more call. I want to make sure we got plenty of time. Next up, we got is it Josh? Josh, welcome in.
Christian, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, Josh, how are you?
Doing all right. And I haven't got a chance to call you since you moved your time slot and everything. And actually worked a half day today. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give Christian a holler. So,
good deal, man. Glad to hear from you, man.
Really, really, really interesting conversations with everything going on. And I had to follow it, though, for a minute before I even make a comment. And I'm with you. I don't see that situation ending well. Was it Jaden Daniels, if I caught it right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I see that ending well either. I mean, I get it. A mother wants to watch over their kid and wants to see them do what's right. And I mean, if I was in that particular spot, as far as, hey, I'm going to come into a bunch of money, you know, one, I'm going to pay off my truck. Second, then I'm going to go give some to my parents and say, in turn, I'm going to be like, hey, look, y'all have raised me up to this point, and I just want to say thank you. Here's something, you know, do something nice for yourselves, or, you know, get them a nicer place to live. You know, I would do something in turn as a thank you to them, because they did raise me and put up with, you know, probably my hard-headedness all through those teenage years. But then comes a point you've got to come out and be your own man, be your own person, but don't be stupid.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And that's why I said there's just ways to do it. Like, for example, instead of like paying them every month, just giving them some money. Like you mentioned, investing in a house for them. Why is that actually smart? Well, real estate is an investment in itself. You're buying them a house. Not only is it investment where that investment will grow, but two, now they're not spending money on a mortgage. That's like them paying themselves that $1,500, that $2,000 that they would have been spending on a mortgage. So you're giving them an investment that's long term, and they're getting to keep $2,000 in their pocket. That's what I mean by there's ways to go about it. It's just unfortunate. Some people say, "Oh, I'm just going to just pay money." I don't think that's the right idea, because that just, what does that teach? Oh, he's just going to give, and they're going to expect that more and more most of the time.
And then you're not going to have nothing.
Exactly.
Really.
And if you don't have anything, guess what? Now nobody has anything.
Now nobody has anything. So there's a smart way to do things here. And this is coming from somebody who right now, I'm still single. I work a job, but I still live at home. My parents haven't kicked me out, but I pay for myself.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. I'm telling you that. Listen, do that as long as you can, as you can keep saving money. Listen, man, there is no shame in that, brother.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. You set back so much per week or per month, and that just adds up. Then you go put your down payment on, if you have to start with an apartment, or if you save up enough, depending on how much you decide to step back and save, get yourself a house.
Yep.
Get ready for life. There's a smart way to play life. You don't 100%. Let life play you. You play life.
Sounds like you need to go speak to the football team, man, or any of these athletes. You got the right idea, Josh.
There is a way that life plays you. And I can say, you know, at 17, 18 years old, if I would have been that kind of guy and things was going now and say, hey, a D1 school's looking at me and I'm fixing to make a boatload of money because I'm going to get an offer and I'm going to commit to whoever that may be, whether it be another school other than Alabama, but I'm about to come into some money. Life can play you, and you can really blow stuff really quick. So
yeah, that's true. That's why you always got to be humble and try the best to make the best decisions possible, man.
Got to.
Absolutely. Well, Josh, we appreciate it, man. You got anything else on your mind before we let you go, or are you good?
No, not really. I'm just excited to see these guys. Everything I'm hearing, I'm excited about 2025, and hopefully different things will work out, and I may not become a regular caller here, but I'll get to call you some.
Please do,
season
man.
And whatnot. So.
Please do. And if you ever make your way down, I know you made your way down for A-Day, but if you ever make your way down for a game or something, man, if we're doing our show live, you'll have to come check us out. Come hang out with us.
Yeah, buddy, I need to do that. So I need another Tuscaloosa trip, but I know you're not doing it live still around football season, but I do need another Tuscaloosa trip soon.
Yeah, man. We'll have to get something set up for you, man. Josh, we appreciate it, man. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a good one. Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide. Good stuff, man. Well, this has been a fun one, man. Tia always, I got to give a shout out to Tia, because she knows how to get the conversation going, man. Who knew that Jaden Daniels' mom in that conversation would have led us hour number 2 to some really good conversations, man. I had fun with it. Hope you guys did too. Big shout out to Chase as well behind the glass, always taking care of things, running the ship. You're the star of the show, Chase. So appreciate you and appreciate all you guys listening, hanging out with us, everybody in the YouTube chat, everybody on the radio, the app, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for everything. We got to get out of here. T-Town Sports Daily coming up next. You've been listening to the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC live on YouTube, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. We'll see you guys tomorrow.